Okay, you have a better understanding of what's going on now, right?
Yes, I remember things.
Okay. Oh god, the darkness is taking over really fast. Up. Oh god.
I love it. Dead end?
I was just.
Hello, body.
Oh, there's a body. Okay. Foul-smelling, rotten corpse here. Oh, hang on. Alright. Based on the uniform, it was probably a male high school student in life. He seems to have died sitting down, though he doesn't look relaxed. There's a student ID tag on his chest. Karasuyama High School, Yaoki Kamimizu. Oh my god, okay.
What happened to these people? They're just sitting in a corner.
I know.
Up against the walls. Just starve to death?
I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, here's another one.
This one's more lively looking.
There's a fully decomposed corpse here. She is wearing a skirt, so it's safe to assume this was a female student. Her name tag confirms this. Shobu University Middle School, Hinako Meguri. I wonder, do I have... No. Do you remember, like, back in the original game, we could actually see how people died?
Nope, I don't remember.
It was awesome. We're going down here now. We're just gonna go all the way down. It'll be fine.
Who we gonna run into now?
I could hear the children calling for me, hiding and goading me to find them.
That's pretty good.
No, it's not.
That's pretty
Those
good.
are the ghost children, goddamn you! Shut up!
Hide and seek!
Alright.
Huh? They're behind you.
Yeah, they are. No, we're not playing this game. I don't want to play this game with you kids.
Hide and seek.
Oh, storehouse. We forgot to go. Oh no, that's where we woke up. Never mind. The wall? What the? It's crumbling!
Oh.
That was close. And I can't get through. Mommy, save me. Okay. Shit, where do we go? Here? I don't know.
All the way to the right, past the bathrooms, to the dead.
The left?
Yeah. What did I say? Did I say? Oh fuck! I said right.
No, we did. There was a body there.
We went to the other ones. Do we
No.
not?
Yeah, we did. We went to all of them.
Oh fuck! Oh, we just went to the boys and the girls' room.
Oh! There was a body right here.
Door opening. There's a door opening nearby.
It was the death room.
Rinky dinky. We're going to go seek the ghosts in the death room?
I guess. I don't
Hi,
know why.
Children. Hi, children.
I didn't think this place could get any darker, but this room proved me wrong. It was completely and utterly devoid of all light. My only indication as to its size was the bloop bloop sound of dripping water from somewhere inside. And based on the echo, it didn't seem too big. I was perfectly content to leave it at that, honestly. But I couldn't, because I knew Naho might have been in here, seized with fear and panic. She usually kept a cool head, sure, but I'd just seen what she looked like when she didn't, and I know it worried the hell out of me, so I had to know. Naho?
X.
No response. Not that I heard, anyway. That dripping wasn't very loud, but it echoed enough that it could convincingly obscure the sound of a person's voice. As long as I kept the door to this room open, though, the pale light of the corridor would filter in, and that door's gonna fucking shut on me and I'm gonna die. It may have illuminated much, but at least I'd be able to find my way out in a pinch, so I swallowed my fear and walked in the darkness like a fucking idiot. Ugh, gross! What's that smell? Stinks to high heaven. Is something rotting in here? Ugh. Ew, what's spilled? It's all over my leg! Without thinking, I smacked my hand against my leg after— oh god, blood. What is this? The metallic smell was so thick I almost couldn't breathe. Was it blood? Did I just wipe blood on my hand? No, it couldn't be. I got a sudden itch on my thigh, so I impulsively reached down to scratch it, and in doing so, a small rice-sized bead had stuck to the wall of my finger. What? It felt an awful like a grain of rice, though, even smushing and smearing like one when I needed it between my thumb and forefinger. What is this thing? Skin? From my thigh? Crap, I hope not. Huh? The lights! Oh god, what is this place? The source of the horrible smell was suddenly clear. The room was absolutely drenched from wall to wall and staining the floor with blood and viscera. How many gallons of blood must have been there to coat this entire room? And the worst part was, none of it was dry. It was all wet. It was all fresh. There were indistinguishable chunks of flesh and bone everywhere. Just what kinds of twisted things was this room being used for? Huh? I scratched my itching thigh again with my finger and looked down at my legs, and all at once my blood ran cold. What? A swarm of little white bugs were wriggling around both of my legs. That's when I'd squished between my fingers. But there were many, many more, and they were all— oh god, maggots. Ew.
Maggots.
I fell into a total panic. I threw off my shoes and began frantically brushing myself off with my arms. I grabbed the hem of my skirt and the collars of my socks and shook the hell out of them too, trying to knock out as many bugs off my body as I could. Stumbling around, I accidentally planted the heel of my sock into a murky puddle of red liquid. My mind went blank with disgust. Gross, 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 gross! I can't take this anymore! Calm down, Sayaka. This was just a slaughterhouse. This is the place where livestock were chopped up into meat. It was perfectly natural. There's nothing unusual about this room at all. The blood, the chunks of flesh and bone, probably all just from animals.
No.
No.
Not today.
Nah. Filthy buckets littered the room. Each one was stuffed with reddish-blackish globs of meat and quivering yellow and white liquid, and almost all of them femur-like bones adorned the surface. And one of them seemed to be far more horrid-stewed than others. And that's because one of them was full of arms. Human arms. Several of them jutting out above the bucket lip and practically waving at passerbys. Screams are strange beasts, because they basically override all sense of logic and reason within a person's mind. Quite naturally, automatically, my shock scream forced its way inside my body, to the very pit of my stomach. Yeah, really. Footsteps. Uh-oh. It was Naho. Girl, we gotta hide!
So the cabinet under the bloody soaked table.
Okay. From the game, we hid under the table and we lived.
That makes no sense. Look at that table. You can clearly see anybody under there.
Yeah, but we were so small that when we hid under there, nobody could find us. Taguchi hid in the cabinet, and that's how he got caught.
The cabinet makes the most sense.
But that's what the murderer knows, and he went to the cabinet first and got Taguchi. That's how he died.
That's so stupid.
I say we go with what worked.
Go. What shouldn't work?
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Would I really be okay under the table? Not the best choice, but I guess there really weren't so many other options. Either way, I couldn't afford to hesitate at a time like this. I had to follow my instincts. Fortunately, the table was pretty low to the ground, so I did have some cover there. Nevertheless, I prayed for the footsteps to pass without coming in. But then the person making this footsteps is probably the same person who turned on the light in here, so I didn't honestly hold out much hope. Rapidly, my thoughts grew darker. Worst-case scenarios began flashing through my mind one after another. I grasped my quivering mouth and violently shaking shoulders in an attempt to calm myself. I clenched my eyes shut and willed myself to swallow any sounds that threatened to leak out. No, please help me! Oh, yep, there's the killer. Ah, fuck you! What is happening? There's a girl. He has someone. That was the sound of a girl in pain. The man had apparently dropped someone onto the table and she was either injured or being injured.
It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts.
I could hear an unearthly scream from another side of the table above me. My body became rigid. Crap! If he bent down to pick that up, he'd see me for sure! Huh? He was a very strange, horrifying creature. He seemed not quite human, but not really anything else either. And whatever he was, I was scared to death of him. On second thought, maybe he was human. He just had the grotesque face of an abnormally large body, not to mention a zombie-like disposition. He was horrifying. I feared as much for my life as any human being can. I was frightened, afraid, terrified. There's no word strong enough. Oh god. Did I die? I was fairly certain he could crush my throat with his bare hands if he wanted to. Somebody anyhow! Oh, I think we're dying. The man drew me up by my neck and violently threw me toward the center of the room. It was almost as if he were proving my hypothesis. The tissue and bones in my throat scraped together in a sickening, unnatural sound. I gasped for air. My trachea was in pieces. I could feel my consciousness drifting away. Ugh. I wasn't sure why, but then he suddenly let out a blood-curdling moan and made a beeline towards the rooms on the exit. As he ran out, he turned around and slammed his hand into the heavy iron door, and it began slowly lurching closed. Wait! I was locked in. I knew right away. I ran toward the door as best as I could manage, but I already knew I wouldn't be able to get it and open it again. Huh? The girl I had heard screaming was trapped onto the surface of the now overturned table, dangling helplessly.
Please help.
God, no. Open! Open, goddammit!
It hurts. It hurts.
Days passed. I couldn't even begin to guess how many. No light ever returned to that blood-drenched, pitch-black room. And the girl I was trapped with hadn't said a word for a long time. I knew it smelled in here. I knew it was cold and that I was in pain. But I couldn't sense any of it anymore. Was I alive? Was I dead? I wasn't sure it even mattered. I just wanted to leave that room. Somebody, please, let me out. Oh, fuck, you were right. Alright, so I guess the way that worked was the wrong one this time. Damn it.
Logic be damned. So is that the same cabinet that Togachi?
Yes, Tagut. Yes, he hid in there, and he was found.
So it's the exact same one. Okay, that's.
That's why I said we should hide because if we hid it, because when we were Satoshi, Naomi, and Yuka, we hid under the table and he didn't find us. That's why I said.
Still though.
All right.
It's like he died, Nick. It's like he died at all.
Inside the cabinet.
Inside the logical cabinet.
The footsteps were approaching fast. I ran over to the large cabinet on the other side of the room. Please open! The doors opened without difficulty, but they were the sort that automatically closed when left unattended. Oh well, no time for second-guessing now. I turned around and jammed myself end first into the closet, grabbing the edges of the closed doors with my fingers and pulling them with all my worth. Shrinking my body into the cramped closet, I prayed silently for the footsteps to pass by this room. But then the person making those footsteps was probably the same. We did that. 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 I peeked out through the gap in the door and my fears were confirmed. I was no longer alone in this room. That thing that was in here with me was horrible. He seemed not quite human. Oh, did that too. Did that too. He had the limp body of a girl tossed over his shoulder. He walked over to the blood-covered table at the center of the room and violently threw her down onto it. Is that Nana?
Maybe.
The girl that got her legs cut off or something?
Probably. I don't remember.
Letting out a moan of agony, she came to. My god. She was still alive.
It hurts. hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts.
Her leg's been severed at the thigh. Yep, that's Nana! Like completely cut off. How can anyone do something like that?
No!
The man straddled the girl and tied both of her arms down into the metal restraints attached to the table. No, what was he planning on doing to her? He was coming this way. No, 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 please no. The man passed right by the standing closet, instead turning his attention toward the nearby corner of the room where he began rummaging through a toolbox. He was utterly careless about it, tossing aside any tools he didn't need. Hammers and drills were clanging to the ground. Some were sliding under the table. Each time a tool fell, he'd bend down and scoop it up. If I had hidden under the table, I obviously would have been just found. Before long, he pulled out a large pair of pliers. Oh no. Ah! What is he going to do with those exactly?
Ah!
Wordlessly, the enormous beast clamped down on the girl's squirming neck and squeezed with all of his might. Then, as far as I was able to determine from my vantage point, he'd forced her mouth open and shoved the pliers inside. He readjusted his grip on the handle, then skillfully began opening the two metal prongs while simultaneously pushing them down her throat. Oh god. No, stop! Finally, grasping the turtle's tongue with his pliers, the man suddenly yanked his arm in a single powerful movement, tearing her tongue from her mouth! I heard the sound of her mouth frothing over, and after a moment of squirming, all her movements ceased completely. That's when I lost it. Tears were finally streaming down my face, and I began peeing myself uncontrollably. Urine was pooling along the bottom of the cabinet. I frantically contracted my stomach, forcing myself to stop peeing. If any leaked of it out of here and gave my position away, I'd be a goner for sure. My stomach immediately fought this sudden denial with a painful cramp. Please, please don't do this now! The man tossed the severed tongue into an aluminum bucket at his feet, then roughly threw the pliers back into the toolbox with an ear-splitting clatter. He grabbed the bucket containing the tongue and slowly disappeared from the room. Somebody had just died out there. I was in shock. What I had seen had literally scared the piss out of me. I didn't think that actually ever happened. I had to get out of this room. If I stayed here until he came back, and if he found my hiding place, I could easily be the next one to die on that table. Slowly and shakily, I opened the cabinet's doors and re-emerged. The girl was still on the board. She looked alive, albeit gravely wounded, but her mannequin-like lack of any emotion, blah blah blah. Yep, that's Nana. I stared at this fresh corpse, and just felt so many conflicting emotions welling up inside me. I exited the room, fighting back more screams from the pit of my stomach that seemed insistent on coming out. No, no, what is this place? If I'm dreaming, somebody wake me up! But I knew it wasn't a dream. I accepted this place was very real, even though it differed greatly from any reality I'd ever known. My brain was quickly nearing its breaking point. A stupefying fog clouded my mind's circuits. Naho! Naho, help me, please! Days passed in the sweltering, isolated bunker. I couldn't even say how many. My cell phone battery ran out after a while, and my watch died too. I was lost completely, but I never stopped looking for Naho. I hadn't eaten anything. I hadn't drunk anything, and I'd slept so many times I couldn't even begin to estimate how long I'd been trapped here. The chocolate my mom gave me was still in my pocket, and I couldn't bring myself to eat it. I felt like it represented an important bond between me and her. Uh-oh. Our friendship will last forever. It will never die. No. Save me, please. Huh? Yummy. That was the shortest chapter.
How? Boy. It was interesting.
So, in this timeline, Naho and Sayaka were there after Satoshi and his groups got into the school.
Yeah, they haven't been there for a while. They got there. They all arrived around the same time.
I thought that Naho.
Well,
I thought in the original they got there after, not before.
No, they did get there before. I think though that you gotta remember that Nana, she died in the other one previously.
Yeah.
So if we go with this,
because it's a different timeline and shit, so things are really wacky.
So yeah, even though they showed up before,
yeah,
they technically went in before, but when they arrived there, they arrived after.
Oh yeah, that's because time works differently in that area too. That's right.
So, yeah.
See, guys,
in the real world,
we're not hopeless. We're figuring it out. We're remembering.
Nah, we're hopeless and we're going to die horribly.
Probably.